Hello there. Welcome to the Drifting Spore. I'm Steve. It's a Labor Day Monday here in Nova Scotia. It's overcast. It's about 14 degrees. I'm at the beach, and we've been at the beach all weekend. It was a lovely weekend. Nice weather, lots of sunshine. Really good one. So, as beach season winds down, my thoughts, of course, when I'm sitting on the shed deck having a coffee, early in the morning, my thoughts get to the woods. Maybe what I'll do next or where I'll go. And I was reflecting a bit on my last drift, my solo overnighter there, which a lot of you guys have watched, and I really appreciate that. But I was thinking about that one, and on that one, I didn't take a big cutting tool or a big chopping tool for wood processing or anything like that. I just used my knife to baton my wood. And you know what? That worked okay. But I thought today I would have a quick look at what choppers and big cutters I would take into the woods that I normally do take. So, if you're interested in seeing that, please stick around. Hope you enjoy. Okay, so one thing I did notice on my last drift was that I did get into a piece of wood that was the diameter was too big for my blade for my knife. So I found that a little bit annoying that I couldn't chop up that bigger piece of wood. So what I was kind of thinking, wishing I had, was my hatchet. This is my trusty hatchet. I've had this hatchet. I bought it brand new at my local home hardware. It's a task hatchet. Task tool, I think it used to say. That's all worn off now. But I really, really, really like this hatchet. It's pretty heavy, but that's okay. So what I did, it didn't come with a edge cover or a sheath or anything like that. So I ended up making my own. So let's have a look. My hatchet is well used, and I'll come back to this. My hatchet's well used, still sharp. The edge might have a couple little wing dings in it, but for the most part, when I first bought this hatchet, I took it home and touched it to my hand, and I cut myself. That's how sharp it was. So you can't ask for anything better than that. I did add a paracord wrap, like a ranger wrap, I call it, around the first little bit of the handle just to protect it from chipping. If you happen to, when you're splitting wood, it might chip there. So I put that protective wrap on there, and that gives me a little bit more paracord too. So this hatchet was about $9 at my local home hardware. I might have caught it on sale. I've been using it pretty regularly in the woods, and I don't see the head coming off or anything. Did put a wrap around the handle with a short loop in it in paracord, and I did not like how that felt. So I took that back off and left this one up here. That nice bit of yellow, right? If I happen to drop it, I might see that. As far as, like I say, it didn't come with a sheath or a cover. So I had an old belt that I doubled over, and I took a wood burning tool and burned holes all through the belt right up to the fold. You can see how it's just folded there. And then I took paracord and weaved that through. This one's broke, but it hasn't affected. Oh no, it's not broke, just one side broke. I thought that was broke. So anyway, I weaved that through, just winged it on the paracord to make it into something that would work. So it's a bit tricky, but it completely saves me from cutting things up unintentionally inside my bag, wherever I'm carrying this hatchet. I did try to run it without a sheath, and it didn't work very well. So it just slides on there. Then I can bring my second piece of paracord up, get it over that first loop there. Well, perfect. That holds that on there nice and tight. Not going to hurt anything in my pack. So I can do any wood processing that I want to do with this. no baton needed, but it's heavy. So I've been shying away from carrying it a lot, just because of the weight of it. If I'm going to the woods and I know I'm going to do something that I need a hatchet, then I bring it. And normally I would bring it for an overnighter, just the last one I didn't, and I did kind of miss it. I think I will stick to bringing this on overnighters just for wood processing. So that's my hatchet. You can get one too. It was about $9. I've seen a lot of hatchets on YouTube that aren't $9, man. And you know me, I'm cheap. I like a hatchet that's $9. Sharp, cut me on first touch, right? Edge has held up really well. I've had it over a year, prolonged use, working great. Get one at your local home hardware. Now, my second cutter, my chopper, my I don't think you can call this a machete even. But anyway, this one here, this is a Les Stroud machete sheath, but the knife itself is not. So, got a piece of Velcro tape around the sheath just to hold this in. This is a kind of cool little feature. I just recently replaced my ferro rod with a big one. I made a video about that, I think. Yeah, I showed that off in a previous video. So anyway, check that out. But this is the ferro rod that I used to carry with me. And this is where it belonged, in this sheath. So this little guy gets to go back in its home, in its sheath, now that I've got my big one in my fire kit. That snaps in there pretty good, right? That's not coming out. So that's cool. So the Les Stroud machete, can't say much about that because it broke off right at the handle one day. I went to chop a piece of wood, chopped it into the wood, and it broke right off at the handle. So the poor old Les Stroud machete didn't, and that was like the second time I used it. It didn't go very far. So, but the sheath, years later, because I don't throw very much of anything out, this sheath I noticed would probably fit my, what I call my machete. So this is in pretty rough shape. This sat on a shelf for probably 10 or 12 years and didn't get looked at. I took it down and cleaned it up when I kind of get into bushcraft. It's not super sharp, but it's sharp enough. So this knife has a little bit of a story to it. For a while, in the early years, I moved to Toronto for a little while. While I was in Toronto, I went to a market somewhere. I don't have clear memory of all this, but I went to a market and I bought this dagger thing, whatever it is, for $20. Pretty sure. It's got a sharp spine on it, so you can cast sparks off this thing, which makes the ferro rod in the case that much cooler. Actually, it throws sparks nice because it's so heavy. I really do like how it works that way, but with this little ferro rod, it's perfect. On a downward, you get really good spark throw out of that. So anyway, this guy is pretty big. It's got a really good handle, contoured handle. I kind of like that it closes around your hand, so you're not, when you're swinging it, it wants to stay in your hand. It says Pakistan on it. That's it. That's all it says. I have no other knowledge about this knife other than I can use it as a machete in combination with this sheath. I can put it kind of behind my haversack, so it'll go on there. It's heavy, but not as heavy as my hatchet. So I have used this to go in the woods with. It's good for if you're going through somewhere thick and got to clear dead branches from your path, right? Using it as a machete. It is sharp enough that it can be used for food prep and all that too. I've already shown it can throw sparks, so really, all around, pretty good knife. The sheath is just wide enough that it fits on the back of my haversack, no problem. or in the side of my pack, and it's got the length. It's actually, nope, that's a bit of sap on it. It's got the length that I can baton most any wood. It's full tang, right? Tang goes right past the handles. The grips are some kind of wood, looks like. So anyway, sat on a shelf for 12 years. When I got into bushcraft, I thought, man, I can probably take old Chompy into the woods there. So I did. And you know what? It works pretty good. I don't have any complaints about it. Got to kind of, because this sheath wasn't meant for it, got to kind of play around there, but there it is. Got a ferro rod with it. Got a little pouch in the back that you could put a piece of paper in a plastic bag maybe, and a pencil if you wanted to. So that's it. Those are my two big choppers. So if I know I'm going to be processing wood for a fire enough to last a few hours in the evening or something, or I'm building something, Hatchet usually comes with me. But if I'm going somewhere that's going to be thick brush or bush, but I also might want to process wood and everything else, my big old knife gives me that option too. So anyway, those are my two big choppers. Both of them were cheap, right? Both of them are functional. I have no complaints about either one. But I've realized over the last few years that when you're going in the woods, it's very important to be mindful of how much you're carrying, because I tend to get a bit on the heavy side. And, I don't want to get wrapped up in what ifs. What if I need this? What if I need that? Right? So I want to take tools and gear that I can use for multiple things, multiple situations, and try to get my bases covered that way and carry as little as possible. Because the lighter you're moving, the better off you are. But you do have needs. So if you're going to be cooking, you're going to carry stoves and stuff. So those two things, my hatchet and my knife, machete, chopper, whatever you want to call it, these are likely two of the heavier things I'm going to be carrying outside of water. Water is probably the heaviest. So I've got to have a reason that I need these, right? But I think from my last drift, after that experience, I would have liked to have had my hatchet there with me. So perhaps on the next one, hatchet will get to go. I also made a belt pouch for this so I can carry it on my belt, my hatchet. It's also homemade though. I made it out of a pocket off a pair of shorts. So pretty cool though. And paracord, of course, always paracord. Anyway, I hope the rest of you Canadians and Nova Scotians are out there enjoying your long Labor Day weekend. I know I sure did. And you know what? We're on a slow march to 200 subscribers there right now. We're in the 170s somewhere, and I could not be more grateful for that, guys. It's awesome. I do this without expectation, right? I don't do this for subs or likes or anything like that, although I really enjoy them and appreciate them all. I do this just because I love doing it. I love filming. I love getting out and having experiences in the outdoors. So that's what it's all about for me. And filming it, self filming, right? I grew up in the Les Stroud era where it was pretty amazing to watch this man go into the wilderness by himself with a camera and spend a few days there and come out with all that footage, right? So, always been taken by all that. So, that's why I do this. People are just starting to move there now. The first car went by in the first hour and a half I've been sitting out. Anyway, folks, thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed having a look at my bigger cutting tools that I take into the woods. And I really, really want to say I appreciate all your views, all your likes. I read every comment and I appreciate every comment. And I hope to see you on the next one. And hopefully the next one will be coming soon. We're getting close to the fall season. I noticed birch polypores are starting to pop. So That'll be the next drift I would wager. We'll get out and have a look for some birch polypore because my birch polypore tub is completely dry, none in there. So I only use birch polypore in tincture, not in tea, because it bothers my stomach a little bit. But still, very important. I want it in my tincture. So I'll get out and harvest some probably this week. So thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to see you on the next one. I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. And I hope you had a great Labor Day weekend. Bye for now. And remember, folks, you'll never see anything if you don't go look. Bye for now.